And this is the gateway to Terry Wilson's backyard. Oh, I hear a train. So let us go up to the gate. Oh, there's a railway crossing. That's why we're hearing the train. Oh, and there is the train station. Now, all we have to do now is find Terry. Oh, I believe there's a train coming. I can hear it. Oh, it has arrived. Maybe Terry's on the train. Ah, there we go.
Well, I guess you heard the train come through the village. It comes through here about the same time every day. Hi, I'm Terry, and I'd like to welcome you to my miniature Meadowvale village. Come on in. This is my recreation of Meadowvale village, the way it looked in the late 1800s. First stop is the train station. We recently celebrated the 175th anniversary of Meadowvale village, and we had a big celebration. We had a lot of guests here. We think we had about 1,000 visitors that day. One of the things we noticed was that all the little kids lined up on the bench. And someone asked them, "What are you doing?" And they said, "Well, we're waiting for the train." So the kids had used their imagination, and they had done it in a big way, and they seemed to have a great time here. Speaking of the train station, we've just gotten off the Credit Valley Railway line, and the Credit Valley Railway line was running in the 1870s. In the late 19th century, the village had different stores that were very, very successful. One of them being the Village Emporium. Here we are. The Village Emporium is known for selling a lot of high-end goods, the latest in ladies' fashions, the fancy boots, all the kinds of things that people who had done well and had good incomes and had some money to spend, all the kinds of things that they would want to come and buy. The fancy goods, the high-end goods. So we're going to take a look inside the Emporium and see how we've decorated it in the theme of the 19th century. My mother, Rosemary, has decorated the inside of the Emporium. She decorates the interiors of all the buildings. She selects the colors and goes on a search for relics, for antiques, and all kinds of items that kind of fit in with our 19th century theme. So if you take a look around the Emporium, you'll see pictures, historic pictures showing the village back in the day. You'll see some of my mother's rug hookings that she has made at home, and you'll see all the other items that she's collected and searched for far and wide. Many of the items that you see in this room come from the village of Meadowvale. They've been saved or passed on or donated to us by people who were kind enough to take an interest and give us what they can't keep, and we display it right here. You can see some old-fashioned dresses that my Aunt Betty made. She was quite a seamstress, and we like to display her work, and it fits right in with the whole genre of the historic period that we're trying to recreate. Meadowvale Village had many stores, many successful stores, and so you're going to see a few of them today as we've recreated them in smaller scale. Our next stop is the Mercantile, just over here. And you can see the sign above, the Meadowvale Mercantile, and this institution, this place of business, was where people could pick up their mail. A farmer could come in and order an implement for his work on the farm. His wife could come in here and get household goods that she needed, order fancy linens, anything like that that they needed to keep the house and farm going. Let's go into the Mercantile and see if there's any mail in today. Well, if you take a look at the end wall of the Mercantile, you can see some of the display that we have here. And on the left, above, you can see the Dear Canada series, which shows the history of Canada in different periods from the viewpoint of a young girl. So again, we try to collect anything that we think will add to an understanding of the richness of our history, the richness of our heritage. You can see the sign, horses for sale. Horses, of course, were a big commodity in these days because it was the era of horse and wagon transportation, horse and buggy. And so we had to have a corral just over here. And just beyond we have a livery where people could stop in and have their horses boarded, get some fresh hay, have them watered, and they're well looked after while they're staying in town. And we're about to go into the livery wagon shop area where we can see some of the items that the horses needed. Saddles, bit, harness, all different things that were needed in the era of the horse and wagon. And we've displayed them in here. Okay, so if you give her some hay, some fresh hay and water, I'd appreciate it. I'll be back later to pick her up. Thank you. So I've made arrangements to look after my horse, and I'm on my way up to the covered bridge as we go up to see the Silverthorn Mill. So here we are at the covered bridge that goes over the mill race. We're on our way up to see the Silverthorn Mill complex, and we're going to take a look, first of all, at the grist mill. Here we are at the Silverthorn grist mill. This is the flour mill, and it was so busy back in its day that the mill was running constantly, hour after hour, all day long, and it was a grinding schedule. We're now on our way up to see the rest of the buildings at the Silverthorn Mill complex. Here we are at our recreation of the Silverthorn Oat and Barley Mill. And you can see by the sign, Silverthorn Mill, very successful business enterprise in the village. The mills were the heart and soul of the existence of Meadowvale. On the other side, also referred to as the Meadowvale Mill, and you can see it was established in 1845. In just a moment we're going to go inside the Silverthorn Mill, and I'd like to mention that we created these buildings by saving everything we could in the village here, in the wider village, and in the area. Every time the house was coming down, every time doors and windows became available, people put out tables, chairs, anything old, anything from the past, antiques, relics of all kinds. We tried to get there. We'd run up as fast as we could, put it in the truck, and bring it back here, and try to make everything a part of this miniature Meadowvale village. So, for example, on this mill, we've got original doors that we saved from old village buildings. We've got other materials as well, and I'd like to show you inside. Inside the mill you can see a number of items, including my great-great-grandfather's rocking chair. And we have a table in the middle of the building that was saved from the Meadowvale Church, which was built in 1863. We have some of the mortise and tenon beams from the original Meadowvale mill. That's all that exists today of the original mill. And we have other antiques and other items that take us back to the day when the mill was a thriving, successful operation. Well, that'll be fine, Ernie. I was just in talking to the village blacksmith, Ernie, and he's told me that I can bring my horse in this afternoon. He'll take care of it. He'll put the new shoes on. So that's good. That was part of my plan for the day. Well, here we are at the village schoolhouse, which also doubles as a church. Back in the 1870s, when the schoolhouse was built, the village had a church as well, but there were also times in the history of the village when other buildings had to be used for congregations, because before the church was built, there was nothing to use, nowhere to go, and even after the church was built, other congregations needed places. So the building we've got right here has the dual purpose, schoolhouse and church. So, as I was saying, I had to learn how to build these structures best I could and make sure that they were faithful to the styles of the past. And it's surprising, if you just take your time and take your care and do the best you can, sometimes you get even better results than you expected. And with this building, everything fits together just perfectly. Once again, as far as decorating goes, my mother Rosemary has done all the collecting and all the arranging, and has made some really magical displays, and people really enjoy seeing them when they visit the miniature village. One of the most rewarding comments that we get from our visitors is when sometimes they'll say how they feel as if they were teleported back in time, and they say that they're kind of surprised, even though everything is done on a miniature scale, that somehow they feel as if they've entered an old village, that they've actually gone back to the 1800s, and at the very least they have an understanding of what it might have felt like to have been in one of those old villages in those times, and that is very rewarding for us to hear. And we're going to keep on working at it and keep trying to enhance it and keep adding more and more old relics and things that just take people back to those times, because we think those times had a lot to offer and still have, and we want people to be able to experience the kind of values, the kind of ideas that go along with the kind of lifestyle of the old village. So we hope you can come and visit someday, and we hope you enjoy your tour. And I guess I've said about enough for today. I've got to go and check on my horse, and I've got to see the blacksmith up there at the shop this afternoon and take care of business. So bye for now.